You think that the real risk is product market fit. But what if I told you that there is something bigger? The missing co-founder agreement. No vesting, no lever clause, and no way to break a deadlock. In this video, I'll show you 3 legal gaps that silently wreck founder teams and exactly how to fix them before it is too late. Hi, my name is Kishore Dasaka, and over the last 20 years, I've advised more than 250 founders as a fractional CFO, helping them make better financial decisions. Scaling a business requires speed. And most founders apply handbrakes while driving, especially when it comes to founder equity. The biggest mistake that founders make is handing over 50% of the company on day one. You assume that because you're partners, you both own your shares immediately. It feels fair because you're both in the trenches. You think that equity is the reward for an idea. So what do? You sign the papers and move on. But let's look at the math of Startup Inc. to see why this is a massive risk. Imagine you and your co-founder hit $5 million in ARR. 1 year in, your partner decides they don't like you. If you didn't set up this correctly, they will walk away owning half of your company forever. Now, 3 years later, you've slogged alone and you built a $50 million business. But because of that one mistake, your ex-partner, who hasn't done any work in years together, is legally entitled to $25 million. You are essentially a high-paid employee working for a ghost on your cap table. No serious investor will ever give you money if they see that half of your company belongs to someone who isn't helping you grow. This is what we call dead equity. And there's the primary reasons why startups stall before they can scale. The solution is very simple. And this is what we call reverse vesting. Think of it as earning your equity over time. Instead of getting shares upfront, you earn them in small batches every 3 months. This is how it works. 1 year cliff. This is a loyalty test. If a founder leaves before the first 12 months, they walk away with 0 shares. So think of a cliff as a sort of a trial period. No shares are given to the founder till the trial period is completed. After the first year, you earn your shares in quarterly chunks over a total of 4 years. So if your partner leaves after 18 months, they only keep what they've actually earned. And the company has a legal right to claw back the rest of the shares at almost a 0 cost. So here's the thumb rule. You don't own shares, you earn them. Never sign a founder agreement that doesn't have a vesting schedule and a cliff. And if you don't have a clawback clause, you aren't building a business. You're building a multi-million-dollar gift for someone who has walked away. But the question still remains. Even if you have a vesting schedule, there is a second, more expensive question that you have to answer. Why did they leave? Now see, vesting protects you only against the timing of the departure. It doesn't protect you against the conduct of the person who is leaving. In a standard, polite agreement, a founder who leaves because of a family emergency is treated exactly like a founder who gets fired for stealing company data. Now, without a lever clause, you have no way to distinguish between a partner who's a friend and a partner who's become a risk to the company's future. Now, let's look at the math of Startup Inc. and see how this gap exists. Imagine your co-founder is in 3 years. They've earned 75% of their shares through your vesting schedule. Suddenly, they're caught joining a direct competitor or are fired because of gross misconduct. Now, without a lever clause, they will walk away with 75% stake and they will keep it forever. You're now in the impossible position of building a company where your biggest rival is also one of your biggest shareholders. Investors will see this as a hostile cap table and walk away because your ex-partner can now profit or even block your future success. The fix is defining a good lever and a bad lever clause to determine the buyback price of those shares. So here's what happened in a good lever clause. Someone who leaves due to health issues or is let go without fault, they are allowed to keep their earned shares or sell them back at a fair market value. The bad lever is someone who joins a competitor or is fired for a misconduct. The company should have the right to buy back all their shares, even the ones that have been vested and earned at par value. So here's the thumb rule. Don't track when they leave, track why they leave. Because a bad lever clause is important here. If your agreement does not have this, then you're rewarding someone for hurting your business. The third mistake, what I see, is the 50-50 ownership structure. On paper, splitting everything exactly in the middle looks like the ultimate sign of mutual respect and partnership. It feels fair because both of you have an equal say and an equal stake in the outcome. You think that as long as you're friends, you'll always find some sort of a middle way and agree on big things. But let's look at the math of Startup Inc. when you hit a fork on the road. Imagine that you're $2 million in ARR and then you need a massive decision. Do you spend your remaining capital to double down on the US market or do you pivot to Southeast Asia? You want to go west while your co-founder wants to go east. And because you're at 50-50, neither has a tie-breaking mechanism. The company simply stops moving. And this is what we call as a classic deadlock. I've seen promising companies grind to a halt because two equal founders couldn't agree on a hire or a budget change. This is an absolute disaster for a startup. You're stuck in a boardroom debate while your competitors are moving twice as fast. The 50-50 split isn't a partnership, but it is a recipe for a permanent paralysis. So what do? You solve for finality. This doesn't mean that you don't listen to each other. It means that you decide who wins before the tie happens. The simplest way is to give 51%. Yes, it sounds small, but that 1% ensures that someone always has the legal power to make a final call and keep the ship moving. If you absolutely need to stay 50-50, then you need something called as a casting vote clause in your shareholders agreement. This designates one person, usually the CEO, as the tiebreaker for specific business decisions. The other way, of course, is to appoint an independent board member. You can also appoint a neutral third party to your board who votes only when the founders disagree. This moves the decision from an emotional debate to a strategic one. So here's the thumb rule. Equality is for friendship, but hierarchy is for execution. If your agreement doesn't define who breaks the tie, you've designed a company to fail at the first sign of a disagreement. Building a $100 million company on a broken financial or legal foundation is impossible. Share this with another founder who may need it.